What's up you data friends, it's Yanis here and welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm going to show you how to take a publicly available dataset for COVID-19, which is coronavirus, run some Python code on it in order to clean it and transform it, and then open a blank Power BI file and create this Power BI dashboard from scratch. In the dashboard, we have some summary statistics at the top and a map where you can visualize where is the virus and by how much. Then I have some trends and forecasting where you can actually see how many cases should we expect going forward per day, how many recoveries, how many deaths. Then I have some country and region analytics. Then we have some province and state analytics. And at the end, I compare coronavirus with some other viruses. Additionally, the whole dashboard is actually interconnected. So if we slice a country, for example, let's say China, then I select China, everything is going to change and it's going to adjust to your selection. So you can see these are the states only in China. These numbers are just for China. The forecast down here is just for China, and all the analytics in general are just for China. I have published the report in the web, so you can actually go and access it and play with it. And I will try to update this report twice a week for a few weeks going forward with new data, as long as these guys over here keep posting new data in their GitHub. Right, before we start with the code, I would like to say a big thank you to everyone who supported me until now. So we are 2,000 strong and growing. So thank you very much. And if you are new to this channel and you're passionate about data science, I would really appreciate it if you click the like button, subscribe to my channel, and enable notifications for all my future data science videos. Right, so the first thing you should do is to get the raw data. So you have to head over into Johns Hopkins University Center GitHub repository. I will have all the links in the description below, by the way, and click on download and then download the files as zip. So this is going to download all the files we have over here. Then if you open this file, you're going to see another file. Then we open this one again. Then the raw data we need is going to be the COVID-19 data. So we click on it and we only want to use the time series data. So these three files over here, which is the confirmed cases, the deaths, and the recovered cases. Next, you will have to set your Python and Anacondas environment up in order to bring those three files in and start running code. If you're new with Python and Anacondas, I'm going to have links in the description that can help you get started. By the way, you can download the whole code from my GitHub repository in case you don't want to type it yourself. So first I load the COVID picture and then I load the libraries I'm about to use. So I'm not actually going to use all of these libraries. I'm just using OS, Numpy, Pandas, and Daytime. So you don't have to load everything. And then I load the three files in. So here is where I load the three files. So the first file is the confirmed, the second one is the deaths, and the third one is recovered. And just to investigate these three files now, you can see that all three files have province and state, country and region, lat, long, and then the dates, all the dates from the 22nd of January all the way to the 29th of February, which is actually yesterday. Something to note here is that the values are actually cumulative. So for this state over here, on the 22nd that we have 1 case and on the 23rd we have 9 cases, it does not mean that on the 23rd there was 9 new cases. The cumulative number was 9, so it was actually 8 new cases plus 1 over here equals 9 new cases, and then the same story goes on and on and on. So we will have to do some data manipulation in order to calculate the daily values per state and per region. Additionally, if you're running this analysis any time after today, which you will probably do, then expect to have more days and more data points over here. Right, the next thing you want to do is to unpivot the data. So this means that we want to take all these date columns over here and put them into a new column called date as new rows. So one under the other, and next to it have the values. And in order to help you understand where I want to get, I'm just going to run one of the data frames down here. So you can see from this data frame over here where we have province, state, region, lat, long, and then all the dates, we just have province, region, lat, long. then a new column which is date, which all these dates went into this new column down here, and all the values per day went into the value column here. And the way to run this, all you have to do is use a function called melt, which is basically unpivoting the data. You want to specify your ID variables, which is the ones you want to keep as columns. So it's the state, as you can see, then we have the region, then we have the lat, and then we have the long. Then I need to specify the new column I want to create, which is date, which in this date column, everything that is left over is going to go in this date column, which is all the dates. And then it creates another column itself, which is values, which are the values we have in each of these columns. And then I run this 3 times just because I have 3 data frames, the confirmed cases, deaths, and recovery. And as you can see, the shape has changed from before being 119 rows and 43 columns to 4,600 rows now and 6 columns for all 3 datasets. And the reason we did this is so that we can easily aggregate the data right now by value versus having to include all these dates as columns in our aggregations. Right, moving on, the next thing I've done over here is that I have converted the dates into actual date time. So now Python identifies these fields as a date and not as an object or a string, which it was probably object or string up here. Then I have renamed the values. So what I've done here is that because we have 3 different data sets, we have value in all 3 of them. We just have to point value to the right mapping. So the first data set, which is confirm, I'm renaming value to confirm. The second data set, which is the deaths, I'm renaming it into deaths, and the third one into recover. Right. The next thing we want to do is to investigate if our data set or data frame has any null values. So this code down here, it just tells us that the state province column has 2,145 null values. So in order to get around this, just because both province, state, and country and region are actually location fields, what I've done is that I have said that when the province or state is null, then fill it up with the country or region. So if this column is null, take it from this column over here, and I've repeated the same thing for all 3 data sets. So now we don't have any null values, as you can see down here. Right, the next thing I did is to join these 3 data sets together. So I've started by joining the confirm with the deaths to start with and named it as full join. I have actually used a full join, but that was before I realized the format of the data is that even if the country doesn't have any cases, they are still gonna have, for the day, they are still gonna have their own row. So whether you run a full join or a left join, things are going to work as fine. And the way to do this is that we're saying the first data frame dot merge, then the second data frame, and then I select the columns I need from the second data frame, and then I'm joining on all state, province, state, country, and date on both of them. And the second step I've done is that I have taken the outcome of this first join, so full join over here, and then I joined the third data set, which is actually the recovered, and I've repeated the same process as above. So the outcome is the outcome you see down here. Actually, this is the first 5 rows. So we have state, region, lang, log, date, and then we have all confirmed deaths and recovered in one data set. Then I just check if I have any null values after my join, which I don't. You can also see that my join kept exactly the same rows as above, which means there was no duplication on my join. The next thing I've done is that I have added a new column in my data set. So let me just visualize it so you can see. This new column is just, this new column is just the month and the year next to each other. So I can actually use it on my visualization here, the month and the year, as you can see. And then moving on, the next thing I did, it was to break the data by day. So firstly, I assume that this second file that they provided to us, so if you go back to the raw data you've downloaded, you go back and you click on the daily reports, I assume that all these files are actually going to be daily numbers. So what I did is that I have write a while loop down here to bring all those files in together and try to use them as daily numbers. However, it's not the case. those files are still cumulative numbers. So whether you use those or you use this data set we've created, you're still going to have the same numbers. So that's why I've commented this out. You don't have to use those files. You can get all the data from your cumulative by doing some manual stuff to break it down. To break the data now by day, I have used the following methodology. First of all, I have created a test where I filter out from my whole data set only one state, this Anhui here, in order to be able to clearly understand what's going on. Then I have created another data frame that has the same data as this test. So now I have two data frames that have the same data. Then from the second data frame I have created a new column called date -1, which I've took the date column and I did date plus 1 day ahead forward. So just to visualize it now, we have the test and the full join 2. So we have the test, which is this file here, and the full join 2, which is this file here. So as you can see on the first row, they have exactly the same data. However, the second one, it has another date -1, which has the 23rd. So this one has the 22nd, this one has the 23rd. The reason I did this now is that later on I have joined, so before I joined them, by the way, I have actually renamed the columns into confirm -1, deaths -1, and then recovered -1, because it's going to be the day before that. And then what I did is that I have joined those two data sets together. So this joined down here. And what I did is that I have joined the date from the first one, so this date, with the date -1 from the second one, date -1. So what this is going to do is that from the 22nd, it's not going to find any 22nd here, so it's not going to match. On the 23rd though, it's going to find this 23rd over here. By the way, we also have the state and the region is 3 things I'm joining on. So what this is going to do is that on the 23rd, it's going to come and attach as confirm -1 the data from here. So this one over here. So to view it on in one data frame, just to understand it better, you can see that up until here is the first data set, and then anything after here is the second data set. So from this Anhui again on the 22nd, we have one confirm, and confirm -1, there was nothing to join. On the 23rd now, we had 9 cases. But on the confirm -1, we actually had 1 case, and this 1 case is the 1 case from here. So this number goes here, as you can see, this number goes here, then this number goes here, and then what I did is that I have done this number minus this number to get the actual of the day, which is this next piece of code down here. So now I have the confirmed daily, which is 8, which is the difference between 9 and 1. Then is 15 minus 9 is 6. Then 39 minus 15 is 24. So I have the daily values now for this one state. And the next step I did is that I have applied this code on the whole data set now, not just in one state, to get the numbers as I wanted them. One thing to note when I run this code in all the data set is that on the 22nd, so the 22nd for all states, I get no values for confirmed daily, deaths, or recover, just because there is no value to join, as I've shown you up here. However, this is actually wrong. We have, because the data has to start from somewhere, we need to update those 22 of the month, which is the first date of our data set, to get the numbers from the actual confirm. So what this code does is that for all 3 of these new fields we've created, the daily one, it says if the date is the 22nd, then go and take the number from the actual confirm, deaths, and recover, which these are the cumulative numbers, just so we can start the data from somewhere. And as we can see when we run this code, now we have data for confirmed deaths and daily. Additionally, if you've noted, I've actually deleted some columns, all these columns which we don't need. We just use them to get the numbers, but now we don't need them, so I'm just dropping them. And now we have our data set as we want it. And the next step now is to export this data set into a CSV file and then put it into Power BI. Right, going to Power BI now. If you want more of a newbie video on how to download, use, and create dashboards in Power BI, then I'm going to have links in the video description below. But overall, it's just very easy to download it. You just go into Microsoft's website and you download it, and it's free to use. Right, once you do download it and open it, the first thing you want to do is to load some raw data. So you click on data, you go into get data, click on Excel, and then now you have to go into the file location where you have exported this file from Python, the coronavirus Power BI row, and then make sure when you're searching for it in Power BI that you click on all files here. So everything is going to be visible. And now all I have to do is select the file and click open. Right, so you can see the file we've just created in Python, and it's been loaded now in Power BI, and then I click load. There we go, we can see the file on the right side. So if I click on it, I can actually view all the raw data file we have just created in Python. So this data frame over here is now in Power BI. Right, so now we have to start building the front end. So the first few things you have to do is you have to head over in the front end, then click on format, page size, and I want to change the type to custom, and I want to set it to 15,000 to 2,600. I just know them now just because I have literally just finished the previous dashboard and I know exactly how much space I'm going to need. But usually I just put it 2,000 here and then I keep building on it. Right, so now I want to go into view and I want to change the page view into fit to width so I can use the whole page. The next thing I want to do is to go to home and then change my theme. I like my classic colors, but you can select any colors you want. Then I want to go into home, shapes, and add a line. And this is going to be the line I'm going to have for the title. So if I click on line and then where is the rotation? I put it on 90 degrees. Here we go. And then I expand this. Then I make it smaller. Here we go. So here I'm going to add my title. The next thing I want to do is to add a few images. So I'm going to add my logo and then the coronavirus logo at the top left, where logo is actually a picture. So put this here, make this a bit bigger. I also want to go into images, bring the data 360yp. By the way, if you're enjoying this video, please click the like button, subscribe to my channel, and enable notifications for future videos. The next thing I want to do is to add a title. So my title, I click on text box, and the title, I'm just going to copy paste it quickly. Sorry. Copy this, paste it, smaller, but you can add any title you want to. There we go. So maybe this is actually smaller. Right. The next thing we want to do is to add the slicers. So we click over here where it says slicer. And the first slicer we have in our dashboard is the month and year. So if I drag the month year over here, actually the first thing we can see is that it adds a slicer, but we don't want that. So I'm going to remove it and make it a list. So now it's a list. Then I want to go into here and change the general orientation to be horizontal. So now they are next to each other as we want them. Additionally, you can see that in Python, we actually had it in this format, Jan/2020. And now in Power BI, we have the whole date, which is not what we want. So to change this, we have to go in the backend. The reason this happened is because Power BI identified this as date and not a text. So we want to go in the backend, right click on our data and go into edit the query. Go and find that column, which is, where is it? Month year. Click on it, go into transform and change the data type into text. Actually, it was date. I've just, you're going to see date, but it should be text. And then click on, go back to home, close and apply. And now this is going to return it into the same format as it was in Python without changing it. And now if we go in the front end, you can see that we have the same format. It's the whole month now. It's not just the first of the month. The next thing I want to do is to change the colors. So in the items, I want the front color, the font to be black, the background to be this. Then I want to use the title. I want a title. Yes, the title is going to be month year. In the middle, I want to put the size on 12. I want to put the font to be black. I don't want any background on the title. I also want to remove the slicer header. There we go. The next thing I want to do is to add a border, and then the border is going to be the same green, the first green, and then the radius is going to be 20, so we can curve it a bit. Now it's a bit curvy, as you see. Right, the next slicer is going to be, I click on slicer again, which is going to be the date. So I just put it over here. Then I drag date in it, so date in the field. As you can see again, it created this slicer. I don't want it. I want a drop down this time. There we go, drop down with the dates. And then I need to fix the color, so I can go into the items. I don't want to change the items. I do want a title. I do want a border. There we go. The title is going to be just date. Now I want to change the font to be black, put it in the middle, make the text size 12, and also remove the header from there. There we go. And also I want to change the border to have 20 radius. There we go. The next thing we want to do is to copy this, paste it twice, because we have two more slicers. So 1, then 2. There we go. Then I want to change this one to country and region. So if I go country and region and drop it on top of, actually I have to remove date first. You used to be able to do it, now no. You can see now I have, this is actually, it says date, but it's actually country and region. So I can go and change the title to be country region. And the next one, we need province and state. So I go back, I remove the date, and I add province state. I can copy this name, go here, title, paste it. Next thing I want to do is to add search. So if I click on the whole slicer and add the search, so now people can actually search. There we go. Do the same with this one. You can see this one doesn't have search, but I need to just add it. There we go. The next thing I want to do is to resize all these 4 slices now. So I just select all of them. I go into general, and here is where I can make them the same size. So I want the width to be 325 and the height to be 84. Now I know this because I have created the previous dashboard, but usually I just play with it and then find the right sizes. Additionally, I want to leave some more space, so you can see I can move this on the right. So here is where I'm going to add the number of distinct dates. And the next thing I can do is to actually, let me show you another thing. So if I go into date and change the select control, where is it, the item background to be green, so there we go. Then I click on this and I click on home and then format painter, then I click on the slicer next to it. You can see that it uses the same slices, the same settings. So I can format the painter, do the same. The next thing I want to do before I order them is to create another field here, which is going to be the number of distinct dates. And this is actually going to be a cart now. So I click on the cart, there we go. It's not a slicer. And what I want to add here is to add in the fields, I want to find the date, drag it in. And what I want to say is to count the distinct number of days. So what this is saying to me is that I have 39 days worth of data. Next, let's try this. Let's try format this. So you can see it added the background at least, and you know the edges at the end. Another thing I want to do is to remove the category and title this as the number of distinct dates. I want to click on wrap word, so if it doesn't fit, it's going to go further down. So let me just put it here, show you. There you go. Then I want to remove the size of it. So if I go on the title, make the size of it a bit smaller, and then I make the 39 also a bit smaller. So the data label, so you can see it's on 27. I can make it smaller so it fits, maybe 24. There we go. And I also want to change the color into this color over here. Another thing I want to show you now is how to distribute all of these ones equally between each other. So we can select all of them by clicking Control, then going into format, and then align at the top first, just to make sure they are all aligned at the top, and also distribute horizontally. So now we have added them and they have the same space next to each other. Actually, just because we have too much space, I want to resize this to 144. So if I go into general, change the width to 144, then put this on the right there, and then select everything again. Just because the space is too much between each other. Distribute horizontally, there we go. Right, now I'm just going to select all of them and push them a bit up. So we're using all the space in the report. There we go. The next thing I want to do is to add our first section, and to do this I can just click on the text box again. I'm going to copy and paste the title. So copy, paste, which is the main summary. Then I want to put this in the middle. I want to make this a bit smaller. I want to take it to take all the space, as you can see. Same case above here. So let's see, I want to put it up over here. Try to keep everything equally spaced with each other. Go. Then I want to add the background of light blue, and I also want to add a border of light green. I want to add the radius on 20. There we go. Is this still visible? You can see shifted a bit down, so maybe we'll have to make it a bit bigger. So there we go. We have our first section. Right, the next thing I'm going to show you is how to create your maps. And for maps, I'm going to show you these two maps over here. This one is provided by Bing, and this one is provided by ArcGIS. The Bing one is actually the default one from Power BI, and the main difference is that one of them has more capability than the other. So the ArcGIS one has more capability, which is this one. However, when I publish the app or the report in the web, other people cannot view this one. It's not supported. But with the default one, which is this one, other people can actually view too. So I'm going to show you both, and you get to choose which one you want to build. Right, the first one, I'm going to start with the ArcGIS one. I want to drag the long and the lat into the fields. So lat over there, long over there. Make sure that these two fields are not aggregated, because sometimes they just go in by as sum by default, and the map is not going to work. So make sure you don't summarize long and lat. Then I want to add the size, which is going to be the confirm daily. So make sure you use daily and not the confirm without the daily, because then it's going to be the cumulative numbers, which is not what we want. The next thing I want to do is to resize this. So the size I want to use is 982 for width. So I'm going to general, going with 982, and then I want to use 541 for height. 541. Click enter. There we go. The next thing I'm going to show you now is how to change the look and feel of this map. So let me just put it here. So if you click on here in the three dots and you go into edit, then I want to change the base map of the map to be the black one. You can actually experiment with others. I want the map theme now to be the one we have, which is the size one, but you can also do different things if you wish to, which is like different groupings or a heat map. But I think this one tells a better story, because the bigger the bubble, the more the size of confirmed cases. Then on the symbol size, I want to keep the marker. I think circle is the nicest looking one. I want to change the fill to this fill over here, and I want to change the outline to this outline over here, and maybe the thickness to be 2. Yeah, I think 2 is fine. I also want to add a ping, and the ping I want to add is going to be where the virus started, which is in Wuhan in China. So there you go. So I think it's a nice visual just to show where the virus has started from. And we can also change the color to a stronger red. There we go. And now if I go back to the report, we have our map ready. So straight away we can get insights out of this map. We can actually see that the majority of the cases are around China, and especially around where the virus has started. And in terms of Europe, we can see that Italy is the one coming up with the most of the cases. And then we also have Iran. I think Iran has a big enough bubble. But yeah, you get the idea. You can use the map to get insights. Right, the next thing I want to do is to add a title on my map. So I click on my map, I go here, and I click on title, and then I'm going to paste the title in. I want the font to be black in the middle, and I want to push it into size 12 or 13. Maybe change this to Arial black. Maybe it looks slightly nicer. Also, actually, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to leave it as Arial, and I'm going to add a background as blue. There we go. Additionally, we want to add a border. So add the border, and the border is going to be the same green as before with 20 radius. There we go. Nice. The next thing we want to do is to add a few summary statistics over here. And the first one is going to be a card, and this card is going to be the total confirmed cases. So if I put it up here like this, and I push it a bit in, and then I want to add the confirmed daily. So we can see we have 86,000. Something I want to do here is that I don't want to summarize this, so I can go in the data label and the display unit, I can say none, because I do want to see the whole number. And I can also click on the field and make it a number. So if I go into modeling, now add the comma, no, actually decimal places, no, I click on comma, and there we go, we have the comma. The next thing I want to do is to add the background and the same radius, but I can actually click on this one, go into home, click on format painter, and then click on it back, and there we go, it added the background now. Additionally, we want to add a title, so I go into title, and this is going to be the confirm cases, and this, we want this to be as size, I don't know, 14. Actually, let me check the sizes, so we have the same sizes as the other dashboard. So if I go into title, title should be size 12. So this is size 12, and then this is size 12. And also what I want to do is to add a background, and the background is going to be the same blue as this one. And then we want to change the data label, this 86. Oh, why that none? There we go. So this 86,000 to different text size, and the text size we want is 50. So I can just select it, type in 50. There we go. I also want to make this slightly bigger. But sorry, I'm using the other report to get the sizes, but you can use the same as me. So I can go into, where is it? General, and the size, the width, the height 174. So I can go into general. Oh, it's not far off, 174. The next thing I want to do now is to add the total deaths and total recoveries. So I can copy this as it is, paste it down here below. I can actually make it smaller, so I'm going to put it here, and the size of it, I'm going to go into general, and I'm going to change the width to be 235, and I'm going to change the height to 176. There we go. Right, and I also want to change now these from confirmed cases, so from the confirmed daily to actually be the deaths. So I can just actually have to remove it and then put deaths. Then I need to click on deaths, go into modeling, add a comma next to it. There we go, so we can see the number of deaths. And I also want to change, as this is bad, we want to change the data label color to be red. We don't have that red, so we're going to choose a random red from here. And then I can actually copy this and paste it next to it right here. And this is going to be the total recoveries. So I can put recover daily on top of deaths. Now it works. I don't know why it was not working before. I can click on total recover daily and add the comma. So now it's a value. And then I want to change the color of the data label to be green, because this is actually good. Maybe not this green, maybe a different green, maybe this one. Now I need to rename them, because as you can see, we have the same title in all three of them. So this is actually the total deaths. So I can go into the title and I can say total deaths, and I can go in the title and say this is the total recoveries. The next thing I want to do is to calculate and show the total mortality rate or the case fatality rate. I'm not an expert, so some people use mortality rate, some people use fatality rate, but it's the same thing basically. Is this number divided by this number? So to calculate it, I'm just going to create a new measure. So I can do a new measure, right click, new measure, then say CFR. So I'm going to use case fatality rate just because, I don't know, lots of people use this one. if you want to use mortality rate. Actually, in the online one, I have used mortality rate, but it's up to you which one you want to use. And then the measure is going to be CFR equals, it's going to be the sum of deaths daily divided by the sum of confirmed daily. Then if I close this and then I run it, and then I create another cut below, which is going to be this one. There we go. Alright, this is the same. No, it should be a bit smaller. There we go. And I can drag this new field in now. So there you go. We can also click on it and add a percentage. So 3.42. And the same way we need to calculate the total recovery rate. So let me see. I think this one needs to be a bit bigger. And then if I copy it, paste it below, and I need to create another new measure. So I right click here, I say new measure, and this measure is going to be the recovery rate equals, and it's going to be the sum of recovers daily divided by the sum of the confirmed daily. Close it, and then we have our recovery rate. So if I drag it on top of, there we go. I also want to make this a percentage, 2 decimals. There we go. Now I want to rename them. So I click on this one, I go into title, and I rename this into case fatality rate. So case fatality rate CFR. Let's see if it fits. And then this one, I want to rename it into the recovery rate. Okay, if the titles don't fit, then make sure you adjust the width and the length, the width and the height, so everything fits together. So now just testing it, you can see everything is aligned. The next thing we're going to show, the next section actually, is that I'm going to copy this, paste it below, so we can actually have a new section. And the title of this new section is going to be the trends and forecasting. So I copy it, and then I paste it. Right, I will finish the rest of the dashboard in the next video, just because this video is quite lengthy as it is. In the meantime though, you can use the live version, so this dashboard, the one which is published online, to finish off the dashboard yourself, or to create your own visuals, or to experiment with data. I will try to keep this dashboard updated with the latest data, in case you just want to use the dashboard and get the insights yourself and see what's going on with coronavirus. Right, I hope you enjoyed this video and you've gained enough value out of this video, both in writing Python code and in creating visuals and dashboards in Power BI. Also getting general knowledge about what's going on with coronavirus itself. If you feel like you did gain this value, then please click that like button, subscribe to my channel, and enable notifications for my future videos. Additionally, if you want, try and share this dashboard with friends and family, so they can stay updated with what's going on with coronavirus around the world. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, I'm going to see you in the next video, and thank you very much for watching this video.